Okay. Back on. So lately, I've been coming across certain kinds of people that they're not actual people, but they're like certain kinds of spirits that you got to be aware of because you can feel them before you even meet them. Yeah, that's how I'm able to manage to deal with enemies in a certain way. But then they feel as though they can keep telling me to I guess try to distract me or confuse me or do whatever that they feel as though that it's going to really affect me, but it's not going to. See, this society is stuck on certain particular upbringings of people, especially when you come from the inner city, like as such as me, right? So this discussion is not going to be something trying to um, seem intellectual and all that. No, I'm just having a brief conversation for a specific reason. See, we have a lot of people forget that we're in a Pacific society that has miseducated people and mixing that in with people that have had home issues, upbringings that kind of distorted their adulthood as they got older. So when you confuse people that's going through multiple traumas and they come into society and start learning how it functions and such, they can have a dependency on um, certain things to get taken care of in a manner for them to succeed or even help destroy other people's lives, right? Sometimes those kind of people that have not taken care of their trauma as a child until maybe sometimes until from the childhood to teenage times until they adulthood, they can create a whole lot of problems, not only for themselves but their children and everyone around them. Certain men and certain women, like I said, that deal with these situations don't have the ability to raise children or not cope with the household or become married and understand the principles of marriage and such and such. So they can have, like I said, this dependency on a Pacific society that has its evil ways, okay, that is hidden for people that don't understand what's taking place, which is basically just a distraction and a test for your faith. There's a lot of men out here that, like I had stated on a video a while back, and we'll repeat it again for people that don't may not know what I'm talking about. But there was a guy that haven't seen his children or his child. I could say because I think he had one child with just one person. Whatever complications he had with this person, that was between them two. Number one, right? But when you allow third and fourth parties into that situation, things can get out of hand. Now, this guy had his child die, and he didn't even know when the child died. Right? He was told that his daughter died in the hospital or something like that, and he was stating that the mother was very unfit and such, whatever was going on. Because there was complications between them two relationships, it brought problems into, between the child's life. So the guy goes to the funeral with his family, and I think she went with partial of hers. And a few districts was there. A couple of police officers. I ain't gonna say a couple. I think they said there was two districts there because she calls the police on him in the process of him being there at the funeral. I don't know if it was based off of fear of them attacking her or whatever, but you don't do anything like that until something actually happened. And it has to happen like that because if it's a child that lost her life in the process of this, you don't do that. So he's already in a snapping rage because the police officer is literally blocking the casket for the child for the father to see the child, and the child the dad is at the other end of the building that they were in, and he's in a fit and a rage. Like I said, I can understand it. And I see, just watching the video at that time, if I can find it, it's actually on um, a Facebook upload we had put up a couple of years back. So um, he was saying something about he was going to create, when you're angry, sometimes people say things. He's going to create a bill. He's going to do this and that, just so other fathers won't have to go through these problems and such and such. And yeah, so they had the daughter's nephew, which was the father's brother, whatever. There, I mean, not nephew, but uncle. There, um, he's snapping. He's saying he seemed young. He didn't, he couldn't keep his composure. He couldn't keep cool through the process, which is understandable because he said he loved his niece. And yeah, that specific story was crazy, and I think it was very disrespectful. That sometimes people can, um, they know when they broken up fully, okay, and they have this child here. They put them in the middle of it, and um, sometimes people won't. They're found another reason to create problems for the person that they wanted to continuously be with, and that's what happened with that story, with that situation. But like I said, there's a lot of parents out here that's still dealing with being parent alienated, and situations are being created. There's a lot of parents that have record numbers of problems within their own home. And sometimes it could be before a person that just started, maybe they just started dating, and the other person is not aware of the past cases that the new girlfriend or whatever has been dealing with. And this is how crooked, like I said, the city is, depending on what city you're in. I'm not going to mention, well, I'm going to mention my hometown, which is Philadelphia. Yeah, the most cesspoolest place in the world. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people have actually seen, or some children end up dying right after the other parent just left, or social service just left the child in the house and went there and said, "Oh, everything's fine," and just giving those mother points, the mother's badge, and everything's okay, and you just walk up out the door. That's what happened multiple times. A child ended up falling out of a window. In one of the buildings I lived in, the mother left the window open to a high story building, and child fell out and died. Okay, weeks after, social service just came into the house. That's one thing I don't agree on. None of that service shit at all, because some of it is needed for people that with major problems. Yeah, that's a must. But some of y'all do not stick to what do you call it? These little, um, I call them missions that you have that the parents deal with, or with a parent or whatever. Y'all don't stick half the time with that. Like I said, it seems like the mothers have a badge over the father 100%, and it's being played out continuously, and people wonder why there's so many violent situations taking place. That's why. That's why. You're getting, like I said, I can just go down the line. If you pay attention, it's either in Reading, PA, or Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia. Some of those guys, like I said, just finished dealing with somebody, they get pregnant, they go through an argument, automatically they're ready to roll out, and then a situation happens, then he comes and he gets angry. These type of dudes. Um, they come back violent and they end up harming the woman that they had got pregnant. You know, well, like I said, and there's so many other situations where the unfit parent allows children to go outside late night. Just do whatever you want to do because the father's not there. But the mother had a problem with the way the father was disciplining the child. These days you can't even spank them, but then you get in any trouble as they get older for some problems that they created outside. What kind of world and society is creating this type of shit? It's like, don't spank your child, right? But then later on, if you ain't dealing with them, I'm gonna get you. But I'm a complaint. What the, I'm like, sometimes I'll be looking at certain videos and certain people say things, and it don't make sense. It don't make sense. So it's really terrible. Like I say, how if people really pay attention, the broken homes when the fathers end up leaving, something major happens. And it's been going on there ever since for a long time. I even witnessed some of, father just left 2, 3 months after he left. The little girl, actually, it was a little girl, steps into the middle of the street because the parent is sitting at the corner of the neighborhood, the block at the time. And she's sitting in the chair and she's gossiping, but her little child is running up the street, crossing into traffic to the other people across the street. She ends up getting hit. It got hit so bad that day. It was, man. I think those people was mourning down there for a whole week because in certain parts of the city in the neighborhood, there's cars on both sides. So the kids are running in between the cars and going to the next side of the other, to the neighbors, and those cars just coming, bam, just hit them. So it's like I said, it's a lot of stigma being placed on the fathers because we live in a society that's just purposely creating situations for people as far as the families and whatever. It's not trying to create betterness for people. It's trying to make shit worse. But it's being done in a slick way to a point where nobody can see it until something major happens. And then what happens when that third party takes place and steps in? They clapping because now they separated a household with children in it. And if you have a one parent that understands certain things, certain elements of how these services work, and you have the other one that just in the damn days and don't understand nothing, but just so used to problems and unfitness and have a record of unfitness, it's going to keep it's going to clash regardless, you know. And in fact, and the thing is, they know that just one Pacific parent has a whole list of record of unfitness and still won't do shit. You see things where father just left the house, right? Like I said again, a year or two later, like I said, they back into the home again, or the child dies, and the other parent was nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying? But they still had the children in that house with those people, with that unfit parent. So you see why I say it seems like it's a badge that majority of women, and this has nothing to do with those stand up, meek, humble women that do just what needs to be done. This ain't got nothing to do with that. Because if it offends you, what I'm saying, then maybe you're one of them. Maybe you have to change your situation. But what I'm talking about is those unfit individuals, you know, and they'll take any advice from the third party that um that gives them instructions on their own household, or give them instructions on how to maintain children of their own. And they be 30 or 40-year-old adults, damn near 50. You know, nowadays, since you got social media, they can sit around and they can spout, you know, knowing that there's what do you call it? Some form of um parent alienation, and sit there and still won't do nothing to better or correct it. You know, and claim victim in the long run when you are the person that created the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And like I said, people are wondering why so many of these males are tripping out here. These men are flipping out that really don't understand anything. So in reality, what's the sense of going nuts for what? 9 out of 10, those type of people end up going with another guy, end up probably getting abused or something like that, right? And you want to flip out on her on that specific type of individual to what? Destroy your life and send yourself to prison for the rest of your life or something? You know what I'm saying? Those type are dangerous to me. That's to me. They really dangerous because if they can put something on their father or their mother or they, whatever, or create shit for attention to try to block the fact that they unfit, that's a dangerous person. That's a very dangerous person. And if the person is actually having children, oh my God. Can you imagine the indoctrination that they're getting from this specific person? You're not only you're creating another monster, but hopefully, you know, thank God that they don't listen to the shit that they're being told or repeat the cycle that they've been raised up in. You know what I'm saying? Some of these kids, like I said, that had father in the beginning and nowhere to be found later on, it's for that reason. Parent alienated. Not everybody is actually what you deadbeat or whatever, and this and that. Because some of y'all say things that sometimes you never really experienced it or you don't understand nothing. So you will figure that certain words that some of y'all don't understand um, can be used as insult to insult someone. And yeah, but men are sorry. At this time, 2025 on to 2030, it's gonna be crazy out here. And some of you fellas, man, you better be careful because let me tell you something. Treating men like shit out here. If you ain't a millionaire, nothing like that, they treating you like shit out here. And if they ain't treating you like shit, they using you up and you don't even know it. There's a point, yeah, you're supposed to take care of a person, right? But then it's like too much. It's like I said, it's like that badge of, I'm a woman. I can do whatever I want to do. I can lie to you, but I'm still gonna get what I want because I'm a woman. Y'all gotta be careful, man. I gotta be careful, like I said, and I'm speaking for, like I said, the little guys because they being put in the middle of the problems. Like me, I said, look, I don't want nothing to do with you. I just want to deal with my own children. But that's it. But if you gonna get upset in the fact that I don't want to deal with you and then use my children against me, that's an issue. And that goes back to what I said. Those type of people or those type of parents are really dangerous. Regardless of how you feel, I gotta plug my computer. Y'all gotta watch it out here, man. They're gonna be using you up, treating you like garbage, and making it hard to. It's not so much of them, but it's society that we live in. Um, it's making it harder to even keep a family here. A lot of people tell me, "Oh, don't go to Africa, don't go here, or don't go to this other country." But you know what? You keep looking over there, you see people still having children, families are still being done, but here's being cut. Are y'all really woken up to see what the F is going on? Now y'all making it cool not to have no damn. Like you supposed to be what? Having children and family? Come on, man. And you making it cool to be single and this and that. Like it's funny. Okay, there's situations where you have to be. I understand, but don't y'all see people missing every day? And I still don't get it. What's going on, do you? Still don't get it, do you? What was that movie? This it kind of reminds me. Remember Law Abiding Citizen? That movie. You had a whole family and a bunch of jackasses that I'm sure that went through the same shit that I'm talking about growing up, turned violent, and went in and destroyed somebody else's house and turned the father into a damn animal. People are pressuring people, man. They is really pressing people out here. Pressing. You can't even if you try to get away from certain kinds of people, they still keep coming around. You know? Like I say with the internet on several occasions, it seemed to make it easy for those unfitness to continue their ways. Yeah, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Parent alienated. They call it parent alienation. I think it would be a lot of less problems, right, if fathers was in the house. And now let me before people come on and like, oh, they got their opinion, they're going. Sometimes it be so many of the same opinions that don't make sense. Let me correct it a little bit. If the head of every man is Christ, right? Do you think a Pacific society is going to want that in the household with the children? Oh, have we woken up yet? Or are we still asleep? Let me repeat that again. If the head of every man is Christ, right? That's the reason why the fathers are being pushed out of the goddamn house. Let me tell people something. Let me tell y'all this. And this is just my, not mine, but from what biblical things are stated, that the devil will put people in prison for a while, right? For a couple of days, something like that. There's a reason why they target the men, because the other party has the ability to take care of the female, right? Without you being in the house. So once those abilities can be met, right? This is only for certain type. That's why I'm saying it. If those abilities can be met without the man in the household, that's when the female becomes the ruler of the household over you. So there will be no head in the houses. So there will be continuously chaos everywhere you go. I be sitting down sometimes, not just lately, but for a long time. That let me see why my stuff. I'm sitting around analyzing certain things, right? And I say to myself, I'm like, let me see what's going on with this. I say to myself, why are certain things in the Pacific order that it is? And when you really dig deeper and deeper and keep going, you really start to get insight of what's taking place. You know how you get some fathers you would see that say, okay, uh, my daughter's daddy's girl and this and that. She grows up respectful. She learn how to manage with certain kinds of men. Um, she know how to conduct herself. You know what I'm saying? And if that order is being met the proper way, things will be okay. It won't be as bad as it is the way it is now. But the program, the machine itself, do not want that. So since we have this thing where people think that a dog and a rabbit and a sheep can all sleep together and do things together. This is why it's so twisted up mentally out here. That's one reason. People laugh at those what do you call it? Those families that be, I think, from different countries. Talking about inbreeding and this and that. Where do you think some of that nonsense came from? Don't you think that's what it creates later? I think people better turn to God and switch your ways from certain things, because you can, like I said, you can continuously create more problems without you even knowing it. You said the machine will have you believe that everything's okay, everything's normal. Well, this is the way it's supposed to be, according to the way we got it going. And people be so fucking blind, man. Oh my god, they won't even see the shit. So yeah, I wanted to do it. This is actually, I'm gonna say this is my second part about parent alienating, because that is one major thing that's going on out here. You know, now the person that's supposed to be under the head is controlling the head by telling the head what they want done, and then the little offsprings in the bottom is not even going correctly because the person that's supposed to be next in your red turning out to try to be the damn coach and the leader. Mm. And then sometimes it takes when the leader is gone out the house, right? And the little offsprings are growing up, and then the person that created the whole problem gets depressed. Things continuously happen. It gets worse. It gets too hard because you don't have. It's like walking around with your head cut off. You know what I'm saying? When y'all gonna realize that you can't have a family and proper household without the head in the house? If you keep thinking that you can manage, good luck. It'll take a while for people to understand it. But I think some of it's coming back slowly. You know why? Because the chaos is erupting. Chaos. It's going to be. It's too much. It's too much chaos. It's too much. Uh this situation with the FOOD. Oh, that was just a little point to start it off. That was like a warning shot. Let me put it that way. That was a warning. You know? Most High ain't say gather yourselves together for no reason. It wasn't just these words is not being told to you just for the front, just for front. Yeah, I just had to voice my. I feel sometimes I like to do this because I used to be around people growing up, same age I am, same. They was friends actually. Matter of fact, it was only two of them. You know how you can get next to people and talk about certain things that other people don't talk about. Mhm. You know, it could be about certain planners or something like that. I remember we used to talk about stuff like that way back. But besides sitting around and smoking and drinking at that time, we would talk about certain things deeper than other people. They don't. Some people don't even do that. I mean, there's a lot of people online, but nobody don't do that no more because everybody is on that. It's like a damn a chain belt. Everybody's on the same damn chain, and it keeps turning, and they don't go nowhere. It just keeps going. You know. Sometimes one negative mouth can cause a whole train wreck. You know, you get one woman to say, "Well, don't socialize with this type of person," blah blah blah, and it keeps going. They doing 50 to 60 videos to 80 to 90. Got all these followers. Then here come a problem. Boom. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to put some common sense back in people's head. Like I said, there's a lot of men being parent alienated on purpose, um, or based off of some sort of agenda, um, based on gender, or they've been indoctrinated for so long and they can't see nothing, they don't understand. So they started getting socially connected with the garbage, and then they started putting it into their household with their children, and it split it up. You know, never really understood how certain men that I knew personally, as I got older, yo, why why your children ain't around? What happened? Such and such. Well, bam, bam. And you be like, damn, that's fucked up. And sometimes you get people to try to put in your head, oh, well, that person is the reason. But and then you find out later that's not even the case. And this shit is bigger than what you believe. Like I said, very soon it's gonna be back to the head of the house again. And if you think you got the strength enough to handle a break in from somebody, or a man insulting you, or um, even the grandchildren out here killing their grandparents. The grandparent without the father in the house, or the grandfather around. You know what I'm saying? Come on, yo. That you're putting, I did it in the beginning when my children were young at that time. Put them in front of a TV and make them watch something stupid or it's negative. And me thinking, okay, well, it's just see, that ain't going to affect them. It does, man. That shit really do. Because it'll take them off of whatever, however you raised them until into the way this specific society is running. It's doing so good, but yet it's so much violence, so much home separation. Like I said, good families you see, father and the girlfriend or wife or whatever, raise their children in the house, birthdays, school, everything you name it. Just out of the blue, they come social workers. All of a sudden, it could be based off of some stupid shit. House torn down, separation happened, and they was happy as hell. They come the third double to come help it. It's never no it's never no helping with them. I'm sorry. I don't care how many of y'all went to school for your uh, 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 to get the job, this and that. You must not have experienced anything to understand why some of these people I used to see in the courtroom fighting for their damn children. You got to go through shit to understand shit. That's how I see it. Or look at it from a different point of view before you place judgment on some of these people. You know, I seen a couple of teachers went and called social service on some family because the little boy didn't have um, a jacket on when he said his mom couldn't afford it because she's trying to feed us. She calls him. By the time she's getting off of work, she come home. Social worker there saying they're gonna take her kids from her because she's probably by herself or whatever. But yet they supposed to be helping people, right? Bullshit. Don't believe none of it. Or a child has behavior issues. in school. Now, the fact that school, majority of these schools in the city, they are losing teachers or whatever, or and the classrooms are getting bigger, and some of them so frustrated, or some of them not even there for that specific uh, job, or they just don't like it. They just there for the money. They get so frustrated, they ready to call somebody on, or they recommend saying, "Oh well, your kid is out of control. They should be on medicine." Before you know it, you get some parents that won't fight it, put them on medicine. Child gets out of that school and go to the next school with the medicine. It gets a little bit more crazier because the third party decide to come in and say, "Well, look, you're not gonna feed your kids this. Feed them this medicine. Since you're not able to pay or buy them food, give them this medicine, make them go crazy." Before you know, by the time they fight, damn near, sometimes it happens like that. 18, 19, 20 years old, they already got a damn, they criminals. And then they looking back at the damn parent. It don't happen like that all the time. It's not always the damn parents. I was always told, look, hey, don't talk about nobody. And I was taught this since I was young, and I kept learning. Don't talk about nobody unless you're putting a jacket on their back, food in their hand, or sneakers on their feet. Because you can be in that predicament. And what the so-called third party try to classify or display themselves as if they're helping, bullshit. You ain't helping nothing. And the fools will sit right in your face and sometimes and show you. There ain't nobody here for you. Ain't nobody give a shit about you. They tell you right there, tell you, and then if they show you, they don't give a shit. What you think they gonna tell the other side of the world? What's going on? Come on, man. And then it's funny because you have other people that want to deny history or don't want to understand it or get or avoid it because maybe it's of African descent or black people or other kinds of people because let's push that to the side or they don't want to hear that shit, right? But they claim they know how to go forward into what's going on now. So you just come into a world, right, and see what's going on. You got your Disneyland, you got your parties, you got everything going on. You just think you're gonna go ahead forward and not know what's up. You're gonna find yourself into a crashed wall. And that's what's taking place in town majority with some that one Pacific or sometimes two unfit parent. But that's what I'm tired of. I'm like tired of seeing that shit take place. And another thing that's kind of crazy is you don't have too many good stepfathers no more, or uncles or good uncles no more because the situations are taking place now, the young is getting out of hand, and they feel as though they don't gotta respect you no more. That's the reason why. Because if y'all keep having generation of problems and not understanding where the root problem is coming from, they're gonna get more nasty and out of control. I just seen a little girl on the video where they've been up for a while. They saying that the mother told her to shoot the lady that she was arguing with, and the little girl shot her, killed her. So That's just to be honest with you, as far as me analyzing it, I think that's the current one that's coming. With a little younger is going to be crazy, but they're going to be so damn smooth with the shit, you ain't going to know when it's coming. Meaning, if they see a fight between the parents in the household, somebody's going to pull something out. Or if you tell them to go to bed at a certain time, they're going to be probably pulling a gun out on you. Or you say, well, I'm not going to buy you anything. They probably take you out then for that. Well, don't drink my soda. I drink it anyway and walk out the door. They get more disrespectful for that reason. Because not too many good heads are in the house, and the third party keeps they nose and shit to create the problem. And what's crazy is some fathers are actually like fully giving up. And then that's when you start speaking that nasty language, I call it. You know, F the girl or F the kids. You know, I don't want to deal with them. You know, and that's a sad situation. That's when things done got worse. Or your heart just went cold because of that reason. Or you just get sometimes. I'm not gonna, like I said, it's not sticking up for nobody, but this is you do got some of them idiots that ain't you gonna get up and go? Yo, why you sitting there drinking that beer and that shit all night? And you got 4 kids in here, man. You could be cleaning or something. They could be going to the park. You could be doing something. Are you teaching them something? Are you not keeping that ignorant shit away from them while in the house? They're young. They got to be raised outside of what we've been raised in. I can understand them type, but there's too many of that attention turned on the good guys, while the jackasses is getting more respect and attention for real. So I ain't gonna be on too long. I'm clicking on, and I'm done with this topic. Peace out, y'all.